Good morning, welcome to Bitcoin Bounce. My name is Joseph. Today we're going to look at a video by Steve from Crypto Crew University, and he talks about this drop in Bitcoin. It's a big shocker, and I'm sure for Steve himself was also a big shocker. He really committed on Bitcoin bottom being in, and now he's proven wrong. So I really wanted us just to look at his video, and he's going to give his analysis of the charts. Remember, Steve doesn't make emotional decisions. He makes decisions based on the charts. Now, I've learned when I want to trade altcoins, I first have to look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, what it's just doing. When Bitcoin and Ethereum is going up, then I can consider to trade in altcoins. Now, if you want to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, again, you're going to have to look at the S&P 500. If that's going down, then you might want to stay out the market. When S&P 500 is going up, then it might be a good time to get into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, if you go and look at the chart, S&P 500 is recovering a little bit, but Bitcoin is still sitting there at the bottom, and I don't understand why that is happening. And I thought maybe before we jump into Steve, Dion, can you just explain to us why is Bitcoin still stuck at the bottom and not recovering?
The big thing with the S&P 500 is that again follows the US dollar. So the US dollar is king, and so when the US dollar had this big down, it had a big drop, then that made the S&P 500 go up. So that's had a very nice run up. And the S&P 500 and Nasdaq, both of them have the same kind of pattern, and Bitcoin obviously follows that same pattern. So they correlated S&P 500, Nasdaq, Bitcoin. So those are the assets that people get into when the dollar falls. And in this case now, everything was perfect. We've had a beautiful run on the S&P 500, which would have been mirrored on Bitcoin. But we then had that FTX fear in the market that has caused. So crypto at the moment is people are just concerned to get into crypto with that bad news. And FTX, they were the third biggest exchange. They were very trustworthy. It was a good team. Everything was perfect. It was running great. It was a great exchange to trade on. Everything was just awesome. It was nice and fast. So it was the perfect exchange to trade on. And we were led to believe that it was very safe, and obviously there were things going on in the background that just no one was aware of, and because of that is now causing the Bitcoin to drop, as opposed to what it should have been doing with the S&P 500 with the big run up to the top. So if it had not been for that news, the average feeling out there with traders is that Bitcoin would have hit 30,000. So it's actually got nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's the bad FTX news.
Okay, so, and I think that is probably Steve's redemption, because Steve said no, the bottom is in, and I think the bottom still would have been in, and we might have this big recovery up to 30,000 if this FTX bankruptcy didn't come into play. Alright, so thank you, Dion, for that analysis. So let's jump in and listen to Steve, and he's going to give us some real sound information about what is happening with Bitcoin.
So first, we'll start here on the weekly. We've got the NVT HV. All of my students have this for free, and also everyone who's a student and anyone who remotely likes my channel, I'm going to tell a story at the end of this video. So you're going to want to watch that if you like what I'm about on this channel. So there will be a lot of trolls that will say, hey, the charts lied. But we talked about a lot. Bitcoin has 1 or 2 large moves per year. It happens when the calm right before the storm. And it happens when our volatility dips below here, and we have to look at the color. We said repeatedly, time and time again, look at the color. If we come out in white, we crashed. It's very simple. The last time we crashed 50%, the other time we crashed 63, this one 22, we recently crashed 40, and this one was 27. This is white. We can all agree that this is red and this is white. We can all agree we went below this line. We can all agree we came up, and we can all agree this is white. So for the trolls to say, oh, the charts lied, nope, they didn't. This was our secret weapon. We've been using it for years, and it said we're about to crash by a lot. Now, we'll get into whether this is a new bottom or we're going to crash lower. But what people don't understand is what a double bottom is. On this channel, we were waiting for a double bottom, and most people think a double bottom has to be the same price. That's not true. It's not true at all. That's not how double bottoms work. In fact, this was a double top. This was our true top in the market. Anybody who studies the market knows this was the true top. This is where we started to have major bearish divergence happening, and this was our double top. This top is higher than this top. They're not the same price, but it's a double top. Okay, so this, could it be a double bottom? We're going to get into that in this video, but make no mistake, this is white, and the charts did not lie about this, as much as the trolls want to say. And by the way, I know there's going to be a lot of trolls on this video. I don't even think they watch my videos. I don't think they're going to watch this video. I just think that they're trying to spread their negativity. But one thing that stays true with me is I'm a science guy. There's been a whole bunch of scientific studies on trolls. Social media is a bit of a disaster. There's a lot of trolls on social media, but they studied millions of people who are trolls, and they discovered that, and you can look this up. It's very interesting. It's always stayed with me. But they've discovered that the trolls, the people who are commenting really hateful things on videos, they actually comment things that they believe to be true about themselves. So it's a direct reflection of their current state of their life and what they believe about themselves, which I thought, it's always very fascinating. So I know there's going to be a lot of trolls here, but I just wish them well. That's it. The next thing is, whether Bitcoin goes up, down, sideways, whether you're hoping for lower prices or higher prices, one thing I need you to understand is Bitcoin still has an outside chance to close with a bullish candle here. We're on the monthly chart. If Bitcoin somehow gets above 19,500 and closes the month there, this would be an incredibly bullish candle. This would be a very, very long wick, and the body of the candle would be up here, and that would represent a double bottom in the market. There is an outside chance that this is happening. If you believe we're going a lot lower, you at the very least have to take into consideration that as we stand right now, this is a possibility. Now let's get to our next chart. What's interesting about this chart, it's super clean, it's super crisp, and it's super clear. What I've said repeatedly in video after video after video after video after video is we can debate whether the bottom is in or not. I've always believed that the bottom was in, and I've said repeatedly, we can debate whether the bottom is in or not because nobody knows. What we cannot debate is that Bitcoin has acted in this bear market exactly like it has in other bear markets. That's the point that I kept driving home, and we still can't debate that. We still cannot debate that. This is the key. In 2015, you can see here, we were holding this as a base, as a base, as a base, as a base, and as we approached this 21 monthly moving average, once we broke through, we plummeted to our bottom number one, and then subsequently our double bottom, right? But what's interesting is once we fell below this 21 monthly, we plummeted by about 60%. We've always compared 2015 to 2022. Even with this recent move, if we take the same thing, the 21 monthly moving average, how far have we fallen? Because that one was 60.5%. This is 61%. So this was 60% crash to our double bottoms, and this was 61% given this 15.5K. So are we doing something out of the ordinary? No, we're not doing something out of the ordinary. Now, I want to get to some other points in the charts, but one thing to keep clear is take a mental screenshot of this. We had our first bottom. Our double bottom was lower. I think a lot of people are really missing that. They think a double bottom has to be the same price. We've always been watching for a double bottom on this channel. That's what we've been watching for. And we may have just gotten it. There's a problem here. Most double bottoms, in order to be considered like a technical double bottom, they have to be within 5%. The price has to be within 5%. One thing that concerns me is that this is about 11%. We can take a little bit of a measured move here, but it's not within 5%, it's 11%. So could this be a technical true double bottom? No. Could it still be a double bottom, like an unorthodox double bottom? Yes. What would have to happen is that over the next month, Bitcoin's price gets bought up and we close above 19.5, leaving a very large bullish candle. Now, is there a higher probability that we have further downside? I'm going to give my honest opinion at the end of the video, but I just want to go through some of the facts in the charts so that we paint a very, very clear picture of what's going on. All right. Another thing to keep in mind, money in markets always move from impatient hands to patient hands. Keep that in mind. Always, always, and forever. That's not debatable. That's a fact. All right. So stay level-headed in emotional times like this. All right. There's great buying opportunities wherever you look in any market on planet Earth. So just remember, this is a buyer's market. It's not a seller's market. Now, we were waiting for this kind of double bottom to play out, right? This is the super guppy, the legendary super guppy. We were following this 0.1 and 0.2 and 0.3 and 0.4 and 0.5. We were waiting for this double bottom. Now, most people will say that we just had a black swan event, that this is a rare occasion, it's unorthodox. I would disagree with that completely. Everything's priced into the charts. Look at this weekly candle right here. This weekly candle right here went down 37%. This weekly candle, 37%. That was our double bottom. It went down 37% and then it was bought up. We had a large wick here. If you want Bitcoin to be bullish in the next few months, we have to have a large wick here. We don't have it yet. We have a little wick. But this was 37%. What we just did in this weekly candle, which everyone in the comments will call Black Swan event, it's just 25%. So did Bitcoin just do something out of the ordinary? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So could this be our double bottom? We will talk about that towards the end of the video with what I think, but these are just the facts. What Bitcoin didn't do this time was rally deep into the red. Okay, we rallied for sure into the red, right? And then we changed and then we plummeted down. So what we didn't do was rally up to the points where we did before to have a proper crash. If we did, this would be more in line with our plus or minus 5%, creating a double bottom. Now, most double bottoms will have the second be a lower low, but again, within that 5% range. Right now, we are at 11% range. That is a slight red flag. Now, this is just going to show that I love certain charts. They have led me to a lot of success, this being one of them. A year and a half ago, we called for us to be in quicksand, and we're still there. So again, for me, no matter what way the cookie crumbles, if I'm right or wrong or whatever the case may be, I'm happy and proud of myself for staying true to the charts that I believe in. I'm not trying to change what I'm doing to try to fit in or be somebody else or be more liked or be more socially accepted. I am me. Me by nature, I've always gone against the grain my whole life. Even when I was a little kid, it's just what I like to do. And I'm going to continue to be that way. And I'm going to follow the charts that I like that have led me to phenomenal success. And this is one of them. Now, double bottoms. What we've been following for a while is we had a point number 1. Point number 2 was our first bottom. Point number 3 was our second bottom. Point number 1 was our top. Point number 2, our first bottom. Point number 3, our second bottom. And yes, the market did double bottom here in 2018 and 2022. We just had a little bit of a gap between because we had so much bullishness happen after point 2 that it was not sustainable, which led us to point 3. Most people will say that's a black swan event. No, this was a double bottom. This was, and people will say, well, COVID, blah, blah, blah. It's a double bottom. It's a double bottom right here on the chart. What we're waiting for was our double bottom. So we had point number 2. This is the top of the market. And again, we had a double top. The second top was higher than the first. A lot of people want to forget that, especially the trolls. Point number 2, that's our first bottom, and we are waiting for our second bottom. In order to have a double bottom and have this still be true as our first bottom, this has to turn into a large wick. We still have a couple days to do that, but right now we cannot have a huge body like this. It would have to literally be closing above here with a large wick for us to start to get into the right trajectory for the market. Now, another thing that we've been looking for was this MACD cross on the 12th day. And I said, all I want for Christmas is this. I knew that it would take some time to develop, and hopefully by Christmas we have it. Is this out of the question right now? Is it off the table because of this quote-unquote black swan event? No, it's not off the table. And in about 8 days, 9 days from now, we're going to print our next part of this MACD, and that's going to tell us a good bit of information on what we should expect over the next 1 to 2 months. So we will make a follow-up video when that happens. Now, one thing that we cannot deny in the charts is that through the whole period of 2022, the bears have been in control. This red line is the bears. When the red line is on top, price goes down. When the green line is on top, price goes up. This is the ADX NDI, and you can clearly see for the whole year of 2022, the bears have been in control outside of this little blip where we rallied from, 30,000 up to this 48,000. This is what we called in our videos with watch out. We're about to have a very large rally. Everybody's going to get really excited, but it's going to be right before a mega crash. This was literally the only bullish period of the entire year, and we called that to the T, as well as calling the 48K a mega crash. I think it's safe to say we can all agree since 48K, it's been a mega crash. Now, again, I think that those things might be taken for granted from some people that view our videos. It's rare to call the 2 largest moves of the year correctly, but that won't continue. I can't call everything correctly forever, or I would be an alien or some type of robot or computer force, and I wouldn't want to be that. So I hope you understand I'm going to call some things wrong, but I'm going to stay true to myself. I'm going to stand up for what I believe in, and that you and I both know that's rare. That's hard to find in crypto. You and I both know that, and that's a fact. But make no mistake, the bears are in complete control. Case in point, this chart, right? We just had a very large move to the upside with the red. The mouth is wide open, and it's ready to eat whoever is in its way. The next one is a chart that we had been watching, right? This descending triangle, and when we broke out of it with this candle, we said, hey, look, this could very well be a fake out. A lot of formation, these formation patterns, right? A lot of them, you never want to trade when they're inside. You always want to trade with their confirmation, but you always have to keep in mind that there's a lot of false breakouts and breakdowns. A lot. This was a false breakup. This could be a false breakdown. We still need more information. This is still new, and we still need to wait for confirmation in the charts. Yes, we broke down here, but we also broke up. We have to have some confirmation come in. It's too early to tell. We cannot overreact. We cannot be too emotional. Now, the last chart here, this is one of my favorite charts that have helped us predict a lot of movement in Bitcoin, and we're still repeating the same patterns that we have. I want to show you one thing that's pretty interesting, but again, we are 304 days in. The last cycle, it took us 395 days to recover. In the cycle before that, it took 579 days. We're still a good ways in, but we've got some more time, all right? We've got some more time. What's really interesting, this will be a point for the bears. I want to prove this point. When we dropped below here, you remember the chart. We went on a huge rally, got everybody pretty excited, 50% rally up to here, then had a mega crash. 2018, dropped below here, had a 48% rally, got everybody really excited, then had a mega crash. This is how we were able to correctly call the two biggest moves of the entire year. But one thing is very interesting. We've been comparing it a lot to 2015. If you look at when the date that we moved below here to where we are now, like this is about 306 days. 306 days brought us to this bottom price, okay? This monthly candle, 306 days. Why do I show you that? Because right now we're at 304 days. And could this be our bottom price? It could be. And we'll get into that in a moment when I give my honest opinion. But 300 some odd days in, that's when we've reached our bottom. We are at that moment right now in this monthly candle right now. It's not this daily candle. It's not this 5-minute candle, this monthly candle. So now, what does all this mean? And I'm going to get to a story. For those of you who like my channel, I'm going to get to a story, but I want to start with what does all this mean? What do I think? And then we'll get into my little story. So I think that there's still a chance, there's an outside chance that Bitcoin closes the month bullish with this candle. That would change everything. This is still a potential. Right now, let's be honest, we have a higher probability than before that price could continue down. Given the state of that we're in, given how things are looking in the markets, there is a higher chance than before that the price could continue down. But if we did, it would take a long time for Bitcoin to recover. It would take a long time to break these key levels of structure in the market. And people may say, hey, 19.5 is already broken. It's not broken. It hasn't been confirmed yet. We are still in this monthly candle. We still have almost 3 weeks before this monthly candle closes. So for everybody to say, oh my God, it's over and the charts lied, none of these charts lied. Literally, none of them lied. I always say men lie, women lie, the charts don't lie. None of these charts lie. We have to have confirmation in the market. We can't overreact. We have to understand what a double top is, what a double bottom is. They are not the same price. So we have to give some time. The market can still prove to be this is a double bottom. And if that's true, that will be pretty wild, because I would say that almost everybody in crypto will be against me right now, but I would say that this is still a possibility until proven that it's not a possibility. It hasn't been proven that it's not a possibility. If we close the month with a candle looking like this, yeah, we're in trouble and there's a lot more downside to come. And we will definitely have to look at 13.7, which is a number that we've looked at for more than a year. This has always been the strongest level in Bitcoin, and people may say, oh, well, Steve is changing his mind, and I've always said 13.7 was the strongest level. Even go back to my videos a year ago, this has always been the strongest level based on the facts and the charts. This was always our first level that could hold, and as long as we hold this level with bodies, we're not going to see this candle, this level. But make no mistake, this has always been the strongest level.
Anyway, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the session. Me and Dion is going to be back tomorrow again. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. Please refer back to the video that we posted earlier today. In that, we talked also about a deeper analysis of Bitcoin. And at the end of the video, we also talked about 2 potential trades on XRP and on Matic. So I think that was very interesting. We look forward to see you tomorrow. Have a nice day.
Thanks guys, have a great day. See you tomorrow. Cheers.